A couple of my teammates and I have turned to biking to practice, and honestly, it's been pretty great.
Finally, able to train again.
Hi!
Trying to make the best of what has been somewhat of a nightmare.
Thank you, Jill, for making sure our boat is super clean.
Things look a lot different now just to get on the water. But all of this, a small price for what the payoff could be, another chance to qualify for the Olympics.
3, 2, 1.
After the Tokyo Games became a moving target.
It was very surreal. I started seeing the writing on the wall, and it almost felt like a weird dream. It kind of happened so quickly.
The bodies are quiet, in and out of the front.
For rowers Jenny Casson and Jill Moffat, the postponement of the games changed their lives, but not their goals.
We cannot do anything about this, and I just thought, I don't really want to sit around and cry about it. It definitely was hard at first to switch that mindset.
The Canadians have moved through into the lead. Jill Moffat looking over her shoulder, just motivating herself for Jennifer Casson.
The pair was one race away from qualifying for the games, a successful year cut short.
Canada, who finished second.
Even next season, still up in the air.
It's essential when everything is so unknown. It's so important to stay positive, and whether or not the season next year is concrete, it's just sort of be like, yep, it's happening, and that's what we're working towards. We have the boats that are stored inside with a limit of 2 people in the boathouse at once.
New challenges and cleaning protocols aside, they're determined to use the year ahead to their advantage.
On an Olympic day, you want to be the fittest you're ever going to be in your life, and that's what we were tailoring our bodies for, right? So now it's like, well, I guess that was the baseline, so we're going to go up from there.
It's amazing. It's looking kind of gray. It is gray, yeah.
For Mark Smith, it's a summer of slow drives with his wife Anne. No real place to be.
Can't beat living in the valley.
A stark contrast to the life he had mapped out.
Each morning that I wake up, I think about where we would be if the season were actually happening. Tomorrow we'd be taking the bus down to the Olympic Village.
Instead, his first summer off in decades, a radical but strategic choice he made for all of his athletes as a head coach of Canada's women's softball team.
And Canada will walk their way off to Tokyo, Japan.
Last season, they qualified for the Olympics, a sport that hadn't been part of the Games since 2008.
National Team Canada.
And they were eyeing a golden performance.
When we did our fitness testing, we had 89 personal bests. You know, we had to be the fittest softball team in the world, bar none. And then the legs are cut out from under you.
Trying to keep the team together in the early days of the pandemic, Mark ran a training camp for his players spread across North America virtually.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
Before breaking for the summer that was meant to be their big moment.
It took a little while for us to get our head around it and to give ourselves permission to grieve and go through the roller coaster of emotions you feel when you've worked so hard for something and then through no fault of your own it's been taken from you. Just checking in to see how things are going. I know we talked a week or so ago and you were getting back into your lifting and going to do some throwing.
So just trying to be strategic in the way I throw through my strengths while...
One of the things as coaches we speak to athletes about all the time is controlling the controllables, which means worry about the things that are within your control, such as your nutrition, your rest, your strength and conditioning, and your technical skills training. And I think those things really reinforced for our players that we're on the right path, we're doing the right things, we have to stay the course and be patient.
Canada leads.
If anyone knows about patience, it's Brent Hayden.
I was retired for 7 years, and the time off that we're taking to take care of this pandemic, there can come a lot of positives out of that.
Representing Canada, Brent Hayden.
At 36 years old, he's done this all before.
Coming down now, Brent Hayden.
Brent Hayden captured bronze in 2012, retired,
Under the wall, it is so close. Bronze medal for Brent Hayden.
then pulled back to the pool last year.
I had done a lot of inner searching, and I just determined that, deep in my heart, it was something that I really wanted to do, and I believed it was possible.
So I'm going to tether off and do some stationary swimming. So this is how I'm training for Tokyo in quarantine.
Already on an unconventional path to the games, little did he know he'd be granted an extra year. He took it in stride.
It's a unique time to be an athlete. Here we are trying to train at the level that we want to be able to train at in order to be the best in the world, but there are just so many restrictions.
So training quarantine day 4, and this is what it's like every single morning. Have to show up and line up, and then we're going to get our symptoms checked.
If there's anything Brent has learned throughout the course of his career,
we all have our own lanes.
It's that an athlete has to do whatever it takes to get to the wall first. Flexibility and improvisation, key components to success. Accepting this new reality, part of the game now.
What would your competition want you doing? What would your competition want you to be like right now? And it's like, oh, it's the biggest wake-up call you can get, because I know what my competition is like, and they would be thrilled if we were moping around.
So instead, they push in solidarity with those they plan to beat whenever the start gun finally fires. Devin Haru, CBC News, Toronto.